Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to wherever you are in this lovely world. Thank you for joining me today. I am Nick Castillo, Top Coders Community Manager. Today, as promised last week, we're going to continue our talk about this Consensys Hackathon that we're doing. $50,000 up for grabs, very exciting stuff. And this time, not only do we have James Cori once again, we do have some members of the Consensys team. We have Sophie and Connor joining us. I'm going to turn this over now to James to kind of recap what we talked about last week and then kind of get some questions going to the Consensys team to help you guys out. So as always, the live chat is open. We are monitoring it. So if you have any questions that you want to get out to the Consensys team, to us, if you have any questions about how it's being run specifically, we can answer all of that for you. So please be interactive, join us, and I will turn it over to James right now. James, welcome.
Awesome, Nick. Thanks a lot. So just we did a call last week, as Nick said, just to do a quick rundown of everything that we went over. BSIC Hackathon it actually officially starts on April 9th. $50,000 is the total prize pool. There's 4 use cases. You can win 10 grand for first place, 2,500 for second in each one of the use cases. We are allowing teams, as we went over last week. So if you have questions about that, check out the forums, check out the BSIC Slack. Make sure you join the BSIC Slack. A lot of team formations happening there. And, just keep an eye on the forums as you usually do, and let us know if you have any questions. But I really want to get to the Consensys team that we have on here. We have Sophie and Connor. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming. Connor, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and stuff like that?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Good to have you on the line. My name's Connor. I've been at Consensys for almost 3 years now. I've been managing our partnership with Top Coders, so helping to run challenges and hackathons. And I also work with the social impact team a bit. And so we've been working hard to get this hackathon up and running for you guys. So that's me. I'll pass it on to Sophie.
Great.
Hello, guys. My name is Sophie. I've been on the Consensys team for about a year now. I work on social impact mostly. So this incubator is an initiative by the social impact team of Consensys. We're really glad to be here. So just give us any questions that you have. We're happy to answer them.
All right, great. Sophie, so I have some questions for you, some starter questions until the questions actually warm up. So let's start with, what's the background of the BSIC Hackathon? Where'd it come from? I know that one happened last year. Give us some background and stuff like that on the whole hackathon.
Yeah, so this incubator is really an upgrade from our last year's hackathon, which was a 4-month gather together. I would say like the first trial of this incubator. It was we decided on 4 primary challenges: vulnerable populations, financial inclusion, supply chain, and energy and environment. We got a great turnout, like 600 more people signed up, 60 teams almost submitted solutions, and then we got 140 something mentors, almost 50 judges. So and we got 350 people gathered to witness those winning presentations, and then give us a signal like how people are passionate about social impact solutions, are passionate about blockchain, and we really want to build this into some sort of flagship product where people gather annually to design, to think through those social impact solutions, to think how blockchain can be used to advance social good. So this is where we come from, and this year it's a 6-week program. Again, you will have mentors and you will have judges, but now we have designed the weekly checkpoints where you need to pass them and to be reviewed by your mentors. You have those scorecards, and your scores will be tied more closely to the research that you've done, the write-ups, the technical solutions that you designed. So it's going to be great. We hope so. After 6 weeks, we really hope to see some great projects coming out of this, and then we'll provide all the support you need from Consensys, from BSIC, from our network. Yeah, just get excited.
That's great. So as Sophie said, teams are forming now. If you haven't joined the BSIC Slack channel, please do so. There's a hashtag general, and then there's hashtag teaming. I've seen a lot of cool people talking about their passion, what they're joining for, which use case they're going after. A lot of interesting people in there. So please hop into that Slack channel or that Slack domain. You can actually work with your teams in there as well. So next question, Sophie, you had mentioned about the mentors. Give us a little bit of background on the mentors. Who are they? Where do they come from? Stuff like that.
A lot of them come from our network, so Consensys people. Almost 30-something Consensys people sign up to be your mentors within the BSIC network. So all those organizations who have joined the Blockchain for Social Impact Coalition. We also have asked people who are interested to join us online, so they can submit their applications from our website. We skim through their profiles to see what expertise they can provide, why they're interested in blockchain. And then all those people, we have almost 200 applications so far. So those people will be assigned to you next week, starting next week. They select one particular challenge as you do, and then they will be assigned within your challenge category with a gentle balance of expertise. So you will basically expect one technical and one non-technical mentor to your team, at least.
Awesome. We actually do have a question, a follow-up question in the chat. So you were talking about there being a Slack team, Slack channel. How do people get an invite to that?
Slack channel, it should be in your instructions on the very top coder BSIC incubator page. So look for that. We also sent out a newsletter, I think, a couple of days ago, where you'll find the invitation there as well. Let me think. What other ways just look through your top coder homepage, the BSIC incubator. If you log on there, it should be on this, on the very top where we say join Slack. You'll find all your mentors there. Judges no, but their profiles will be all up on our website as well.
Yeah, Sophie, I just sent the link to join the Slack channel to Nick. Nick, can you post that back out? And then it's it's in the forums. So when you join the Top Coder Challenge, there's a forum link on how to join Slack. It's just a join link, and then you verify your email address and you're in. Very easy. And then, so the last question that I had prepared for you, Sophie, is what's going to win this hackathon? What do people need to think about? What do they need to provide? How are they going to win in each use case?
I think what we're really looking for is a valid or a well-proved solution. So what it takes, I would say, you need to make the case that blockchain can be used in your particular use case for your particular problem that you define. So think about, maybe you might have an information silo problem, maybe you have a coordination problem, maybe you have an incentive problem, like how blockchain fit into your solution, why is it needed? In that case, and then just look deep into the questions that we ask and check out the scorecards definitely to see what are the 5 score criteria there. Those are the guidance that we gave judges to score you. So definitely, it depends on the breadth and depth of your research, really. So just look through those questions carefully to gather as much info as you probably can.
Yeah, it sounds good. I know that on blockchain.topcoder.com, that's where the Top Coder page is linked from. BSIC Incubator is on there. Under each use case, there are a bunch of links for readings for each use case. So definitely go through that, dig through all the links that Consensys has provided as well. That'll give you some good background. And then, it's just straight up developer and creativity, right? To get the good products. And And we're asking for videos as well, demoing your solution and stuff like that. So please, if you have any questions about what needs to be provided, if you have any questions about the Topcoder platform, definitely let us know. Nick, anything in chat? Anything?
No, not yet. Still
Okay.
waiting for questions, but you guys are, I think, answering the right questions so far.
Okay, awesome. So I know that we've gotten some team applications. We've gotten a couple. Please, all the instructions are in the forum. Submit the Google form so we can get the contracts out. The DocuSign contracts will be sent to team members to sign. That'll show how you share the prize money and stuff like that. And then we will get you your forum starting next week. So there will be a private forum for each team where you can work with your member or mentors. You can talk to your mentors, and that's where you'll submit your checkpoints as well. Little outside for anybody on here who's an old school top coder. It's a little bit outside because we're allowing teams, but it's a cool new dynamic that we're working with. So if you have any questions with that, ask in the forums as well. I myself am in the BSIC Slack domain. I don't know if the Copilot or any of the other top coder people are, but yeah, definitely ask in there. Ask, Sophie's active in there. We may even get Connor in there if he's bored. But what else? What else do we need to know, Sophie? What else? Where do the judges come from? Let me ask you that one.
Oh, we're still recruiting them, but those are very experienced. You can expect like CEOs from corporations. Joe was our last hackathon judge, so you can kind of get a sense of their expertise level. And we also pay extra attention to diversity, so geographic and demographic. We will have people on every continent, so it's a balance. We will try to seek out the most diverse population that we can.
Yeah, and just to clarify, that's Joe Lubin, the co-founder of Ethereum that Sophie mentioned.
Oh, nice. That was my next question.
Awesome. We do have another question in the chat, and this is just for newbies who might just be hopping into this video right now, don't really know too much about it. So the question is, can you give a quick overview of the timeline and the prizes, how that breaks down?
Yeah, I can start with that. And then Sophie, if I miss anything, let me know. So definitely check out blockchain.topcoder.com. There's a link at the top for BSIC Incubator. That has all the details. The one thing that has not been updated yet, which I just noticed today, is on the timeline block. That's all the key timeline pieces there, but we have extended registration and team formation out to April 16th. That will be updated on the site. So basically now you can go there, you can register for the challenge, you can read the use cases, you can start talking in the BSIC Slack domain for forming teams, finding other people who are interested, who offset your skills, who fit within the use case that you're interested in. Team formation will end on the 16th, and then the competition runs starting on April 9th through the 21st. During that, there is a weekly checkpoint. It's detailed in the challenge spec, where every week you need to provide something to your mentor. It's basically status, pretty much. Sometimes towards the later, you have to start submitting code and stuff like that. But please see the detail for the checkpoints in the challenge spec, and then submissions are due by May 21st. That'll be the final submission, and then we have judging from the 21st to the 4th, and winners are announced on the 4th. So that's the overall timeline. And then make sure that you start forming your team. For those that don't know, we're sending out, we have a Google form where you submit your team members and their Topcoder handles and stuff like that. You'll get a DocuSign contract where each member has to sign it. And then that is your team. We'll provide a forum where your mentor will be so that you can talk to them, submit your checkpoints. And then it's just work and work until the end of May. That's the overall. Did I miss anything, Sophie? I don't know. Oh, the prizes. Cash prize pool of $50,000 US. There are 4 use cases. Each use case has a first prize of $10,000 and a runner-up or second prize for $2,500 US. So the judging will be done based on the rubric that's been linked out of the challenge spec. So please make sure you read up on that, because that's how you're going to be judged. And then those winners will win that 12-5 in each one of the each one of the use cases. Sophie, do you want to touch on winners announced? I know that we're going to announce the winners, but then there's also the conference in June, and also Ethereal is coming up too. So if you want to touch on those two things, Connor, maybe you can touch on Ethereal too.
So winners will be individually notified towards the end of May. So you probably May 29th, 30th, something. But then we have this big conference on June 1st, where all winning teams will be invited to our Blockchain for Social Impact conference in DC to present their solutions in front of the largest NGOs and impact investors. So keep that date on your mind and then go for it. As for Ethereal, I think Ethereal is on May 11th and 12th. Connor, do you want to explain a little bit about that? There are two different conferences. These are two different conferences, probably two different audiences as well.
I wanted to get that out there, kind of.
Yeah, I can speak about Ethereal briefly. So this is the third Ethereal Summit that Consensys is hosting. It's going to be the biggest one yet. It's 2 days, May 11th and May 12th, and we have people, crypto projects flying in from all over the world to present and hold panels and discussions, not just focused on the technology itself, but also the community and culture around blockchain. And so it's a great experience. I definitely recommend anyone who's in New York in early May to try to come. And I will try to put the link in this chat for you guys.
Awesome. I know that was a little off topic, but I definitely wanted to get that out there so that you have a lot of blockchain people interested in this. So, and then Nick, what else we got? Anything else from?
Let's see. Nothing from the chat right now. You talked about 4 different use cases, right?
Yeah, so we have 4 different use cases. They are, pulling that up right now: hardware, democracy, agriculture, and refugees. Sophie, I don't know if you want to touch on those 4 areas. Why were those 4 areas selected? Do you want to give some detail on those 4 areas?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So hardware basically includes all the technical barriers, I would say, to the deployment of blockchain solutions. So maybe scalability, security, privacy, or any weak links that might expose your solutions to attacks and the manipulation. So so how do we remove humans in verification? How do we create trusted interactions between IoT devices, stuff like that? And then I think the challenge is really to think how we decentralize the infrastructure as much as possible while minimizing the critical fallibilities of decentralization. And yeah, that's it. I think democracy is really echoing the central ethos of blockchain technology, which is to create inclusive network where everyone can be a part of. So things like voting, law enforcement, media, information transmission, government services are all fair game. And also, I think the goal is to think about how we restore trust in public services, and given the democratic ideals that we hold, and how blockchain can be used to solve those solutions. Agriculture is about modernizing the very primary industry that we have, and then how do we incentivize sustainable practices that will no longer damage Earth's land and environment. So questions that you can think about include how we ensure food supply, secure the supply chain, reduce waste, or any incentivize better practices, better habits, that could, or maybe integrate other technologies such as machine learning, AI, IoT, like Internet of Things. Finally, the refugee crisis is really, I think, at this point, everyone must have thought about it a little bit, and the reason that we want to make it a challenge is to really further push this issue on people's agenda, to think how we can individually and collectively take some actions, and how blockchain can be used to uplift refugees, and to help those that are forcibly displaced. So the services that we can provide them, ranging from self-sovereign identity, education, credentialing, vocational training, emergency response, or maybe evidence collection, or anything within that particular realm, I think will qualify. Just think about any services that we can provide for refugees. So those are the 4 broad challenge categories that we decide to focus on, but we definitely do not want them to be limiting in any case. So in this incubator, we basically ask people to frame the question and then answer the question themselves. So think about like the pitch angles can really be as diverse as possible. So I would just leave it to your own creativity and imagination, and how you guys think about those problems and what kind of solutions that you think are worth developing.
Awesome. That's great background. Thank you. Nick, I think we have a question.
Yeah. Well, it looks like that answered, but maybe I'll have Connor expand on it a little bit more. So Don does ask, is there a way to make Ethereum more affordable for ETH devs and community builders? And I see, Connor, you responded there.
Yeah. So I can't promise anything, but if you reach out to me at my Consensys email, which I put in the chat, I'll talk to the organizers, and we can most likely get some discounted tickets for social impact hackathon participants. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you're seriously interested in attending.
Okay, very cool. You heard it here first. That you ask the right questions, you get the right answers, huh? All right, and then there's another question. I think this is more high-level dev stuff, but if anyone can shed any light for a tool, he says, how can you link Ethereum with a Node.js app?
Come on, Connor, that's all you, man.
So I mean, there's a few ways. I'm not sure if that's really in scope of this discussion here,
right.
And I'm not the best person to ask, but
I would say, do you have any kind of resources or anywhere you can point that kind of question?
Asking our Slack.
Yeah, definitely ask in the Slack. If you look up Truffle, that's a development tool that Consensys has built for Ethereum applications. They have a bunch of great tutorials and documentation for learning things just like that. But I think questions like that, reach out in the Slack, and we'll have people that can help.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes total sense. All right. Well, it doesn't seem like we have any other questions. This has been a nice little chat, 20 minutes. I think we covered a lot. Hopefully, for those that tuned in, you got your questions answered. If perhaps you're watching this a little later on and want to still ask your questions, again, join the Slack community. We posted the link into this chat. If you can't see the chat, then it is also in your instruction booklet that you receive upon registering for the competition.
Yeah, it's once you register for the challenge, jump into the forums. All the instructions are there, including how to join the Slack domain.
Perfect. Yep, and I guess that will do it if we don't have any other questions. So thank you so much.
Nick, I would say keep an eye out. We're going to probably do another one of these in maybe 2 weeks or so. Once the teams are formed and everything's in full swing, try to get maybe Sophie and Connor back to do a little bit. Maybe we'll try to get Bert of Preru. Shout out to him again. He's my co-pilot on this. Maybe we'll get him to hop on here too. And but yeah, we don't have a date yet. We'll definitely announce that through Slack and through the forums.
Great. And all social media, wherever you follow Top Coder, we'll be announcing it there as well. All right, so thank you so much to Sophie. Thank you to Connor for joining us today. Thank you to James being our co-host for this meeting. And hopefully everyone got what they needed out of it. Again, if you have any questions, forums, Slack, we're there. Email, we're there for you. All right. Okay, until next time, thanks for joining us. Have a good one. Bye.